The U.S. added just 54,000 jobs in August, in the latest sign of weakness in the labor market. The numbers were lower than expected, and according to economists, reflect uncertainty permeating the economy. Joining me to discuss, Sylvan Lane, business editor here at The Hill. Thanks for coming on, Sylvan. So what is the cause of this uncertainty economists speak of?
So this uncertainty that we're seeing throughout the economy has a lot to do with just how many fundamental changes have been going on over the past 9 or so months. Outside of the political sphere, you have the rise of AI and everything that could mean for the future of the way we work and live in the United States and the world. But when it comes to domestic politics, we have President Trump's tariffs. We have the big shifts going on to immigration, major changes in federal spending, which could trickle throughout the economy and the job market in various ways. So there's just a lot going on in the economy right now, and it's hard for anybody to make sense of how all of these factors are going to affect each other, setting aside the fact that a lot of these policies are changing by the week.
What do we know about how consumers are feeling and how that could possibly be factoring into the labor market?
So we've seen consumer sentiment, bounce up and down a little bit throughout the summer. Some folks, after the onslaught of Trump's tariffs announcements earlier in August, started to think that, okay, maybe we're in the clear now. Maybe this is the end of that uncertainty and we're going to know what to expect. But we're seeing surveys throughout the economy showing people are still getting pretty pessimistic in the state of the economy, given how many things are changing and how hard it is for them to get a sense of it all.
What kind of labor shortage explain the low number of hires? I mean, you have the Trump immigration policy, baby boomers continue to retire. Is that a factor?
So the population shrinking, the workforce shrinking between, baby boomers retiring and the immigration cuts and deportation measures by the Trump administration, that's definitely taking a toll on the labor market and the economy at large. But it's not happening in the sense of, employers are looking for workers to fill all of these jobs in the same way that we saw during 2021 and 2022 as the economy recovered from COVID. What we're starting to see right now is few businesses are actually hiring. Few people who have jobs are willing to leave them to take better ones, or maybe they're not finding better ones. The labor market is kind of on ice right now in a lot of ways. Unemployment isn't that high, but you're not seeing that dynamism that typically gives business leaders a lot of confidence that the economy is going to continue to move in a good direction.
You mentioned it earlier, but what about AI? Could it be that employers don't want to hire because they think AI could do the job?
In some cases, we've seen AI kind of take charge of some tasks that might have been repetitive or required, a lot of computational knowledge. My colleague Julia Shapiro, a great tech reporter here, wrote a story recently getting into the fact that while there has been a lot of disruption because of AI, we're nowhere close to seeing the massive wipeouts of thousands and thousands of jobs that some have predicted yet. But these programs are changing the way that companies are doing businesses, opening up opportunities for jobs in some sectors, but also getting rid of some jobs in areas where the computer is just quicker.
You mentioned the effect of President Trump. How much of this softness in the job market do you think can be attributed to policies coming from the White House?
I always like to joke that no president has as much or as little control over the economy as he or she likes to believe that they have. So it's always hard to say how much is because of Trump himself and his policies himself. But, we can listen to the economists and the business experts themselves, and they can kind of speak to which parts of Trump's policies are impacting them in certain ways. Surveys of manufacturers and factory leaders in this country have shown that people are starting to get very concerned about the rising cost of these intermediate goods, products that make up parts of other products that you can't really make those components in the United States, or at least not make them and source them cheaply. We've seen some turmoil in the construction the construction sector because of the cuts to immigration and other labor issues. So if you listen to these job leaders in these surveys of specific industries, they can speak to the specific ways that administration policy is impacting them for better or worse. But when it comes to the overall picture of where the economy is going, economists are still trying to make sense of how each of those parts kind of works together.
What are you going to be watching for tomorrow when the Bureau of Labor Statistics releases its new numbers?
So, the first thing that we're always looking for is that headline jobs number. Economists are expecting it to be another pretty mediocre jobs gain. And, given the president's interest in the way that the jobs report has been compiled, his recent firing of the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, we know he's going to be paying close attention to what not only that top line number says, but maybe even more importantly, if there are any other big revisions to previous months. We've already gotten 100,000 jobs lopped off of the past 3-month total so far. So any further revisions could make the job market go from looking kind of weak to very weak. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for.
All right. We'll continue to follow. Sylvan Lane, business editor here at The Hill. Thanks as always for your insight.
My pleasure.